Hello and welcome to AAA Wargaming. I know again it's been a while, but I've got a free week to myself, so I'm going to get not only a couple of friendlies out, but the entire Art of War 6 out. I am playing a new army, and it is Sylvan Elves. I finally finished it. It's taken it took 2.5 years. I finished it over New Year's between 2023 and 2024. Very happy. Um, lot, lot of pain, tears, sweat, joy, depression, sadness going into it. But other than that, I'm very happy, and I'm a glutton for punishment because that's why I did two Sylvan Elf armies. Not something I'm going to repeat, but let's move on. All right. The first friendly is battle report number 43. I've done that, and against a good mate, Antoine, who's part of the Spiky Club. He normally runs Vermin Swarm, and he's very successful with them. And he's gone back to another of his loves, which is Undying Dynasties. We met up at Spiky Club on a Friday, which has restarted, and we decided just to roll off. So we did a frontline clash and a hold the ground. So big centre. Um, this is the army. The trees themselves I have modelled them. Lots of people ask me at Art of War, did I buy them? And the answer is no, I've made them myself. And they're not my usual trees that I've just revamped. These have been built from scratch again. Otherwise, Otherwise, in terms of the Briar Maidens and the Archers are standard Wood Elf, Sylvan Elf Game Workshop models, but the Kestrels are the Hawk Riders from Zali Factory, which is TXALI, and the Eagles are the owls from Hidden Miniatures, and they're also some of my characters. Um, the Lord, which you can see on the right. So sorry, I'll go. So the Lord here, that's a normal Wild Hunter Games Workshop model, but the Elk, I have no idea. It's been that long since I bought it and been making this army. I have no idea where I bought the thing from. But they're the Eagles, and I'll have some better pictures of the Kestrels. I do realise now that you can't actually see, but I really like the effect. It's coming out. It's something different. At some point, I may do a tutorial on how I did the trees, but I just typed in any old YouTube thing. The key I found with this is using a sieve for the snow because you just spray glue and then or PVA glue over it, spray it over, and then you sieve it over, and it just creates that really nice snow effect, and it lands where snow probably should land if it didn't have any wind. So that's quite nice. But if if I make them in the house again, my wife will get very angry with me again. Um, the bristles are from Gutter Cleaner, which I cut up, and Hoovers do not make them up, so I had to wrap sellotape around my hand and literally go across the ground area by area, collecting them and throwing them away. So when they got found in the baby's baby carrier, whilst with baby, that was probably the final straw. So, but at some point, I will do some sort of tutorial. Maybe it'll just be more pictures and doing that, but we'll see. It was a very fun project to paint. There's a few changes I want to make after Art of War, but actually, I'll go on to that at the end of Art of War. What happened? So this is the list. The Forest Prince is on a Great Elk because I've always wanted to play a Great Elk. I love the whole thing about it, but what I didn't play it with was a Wild Huntsman. Since it's only +2 on the charge, and because Great Elk is only 8 inches advance, I just don't see the point. Um, I've got the Glimp of Amaral because actually with +3 defense, it puts the in challenge, put the Forest Prince up to defensive 10, so a lot of mounts can't do it. And then the Obsidian Rock is for MR2. I'm umming and ahhing about Sylvan Blades and Oaken Might, but as a monster killer, this is pretty good. And it's just reliable. It can either sit in the Briar Maidens. Admittedly, it makes them not light troops, but it's quite a good bunker to then go and launch out of. I've got a Druid, Eagle King, and Adept, one on Shamanism, one on Druidism. I'm unsure about this magic setup. This is the magic setup I went to Art of War with, and I'll talk about that later. I'd love Totemic Summons, even without the breath weapon, they're still quite good. Um, and as you'll find out, my chieftain with the shapeshifter. So the idea was, and I thought, and I must admit, I cheated this battle and against Ben. No, I didn't cheat against Ben because I realised it, but I cheated against Antoine. You can't, because he doesn't have light troops, it can't move 20 inches and then fire, only 5 inches. So apologies, Anton. Um, yeah, but of Whiskered on this, probably not a good points investment on this. I probably should have put it one of the wizards, but hey ho. Other than that, I've gone for big, lots of archers. The idea behind this army, it's a delaying tactic army. It's like the old lore of wood elves. Oh, the winter is coming. You must not have any trees, and oh, the forest is being overrun. So if I lose, technically, I'm just sticking to the lore. And therefore that's why I've got sort of archers and then kestrel knights. So like people who'd sit at the edge of the forest, no wild huntsmen, and stuff like that. So yeah, that's the reason. Kestrel knights. I didn't. The army wasn't going to go for banner of deception and pennant, but it's normally flaming banner and stuff. But because I was playing Undying Dynasties, Anton was a good sport and let me just try these ones out just to have a look. And then 5 Forest Eagles, because for 211 points with 15 wounds, why not? And 8 Briar Maidens and Champion, because I think the Briar Maidens are really good, and 100 points for an Adept seems quite good, especially when you can get Break the Spirit and Master of Earth now that the has changed. So it's Undying Dynasties. I think when I saw the Pharaoh and Shire Garden, I was a bit worried, but no Godslayer. So I was pretty happy with that. And then he's got a Deathcult Pirate, Wizard Master, Cosmo, and then an Adept with the Evocation. I was pretty happy about this actually. I was like, my army can move around. This doesn't scare me at all. I don't think it benefits the army that well. I think a Div Master is something I'm more worried about. So I was pretty happy. He's got 6 Skeleton Chariots with Legion Charioteers, which is annoying, but I'm not scared of it. I think I can deal with that with my combat units. He's got 2 units of Skeleton Archers. Now, these worry me. These worried me because they can always hit on a 5+. So it doesn't matter about long range or anything like that. I can't really do anything to them. And I've got no armor on my archers, so these are going to be high on my priority list first, just because 6 turns of these whittling me down is not good, so I need to kill them off straight away. Ape Shapti, I was like, if I get multi-charge off, I can beat them. If I don't, they're going to kick me into the ground, so that was literally the tactic there. Necropolis, he's got the 5 Skeleton Scouts, bit of chaff. Necropolis Guard, I didn't think I could fight them without like 3 units going in, so I just sort of decided I was going to avoid them, and if necessary, shoot as much as I can, but mainly avoid them. 6 Scarab Storms, I didn't really. I was like, I'd take my opportunity with them. Hopefully, I'd just shoot them off. A Sand Scorpion and Colossus. So the plan was I was going to ignore the Sand Scorpion, shoot the Colossus with the bow and some other bits, fight the Chariots and the Shapti with my Kestrels, and then worry about the Necropolis Guard when I need to. And see if I can pair off my general against his Shire Guardian, because actually he'd be hitting me on 5+. In terms of hold the ground, I've got to accept that I think he's got better units than me, which is not standard in terms of holding, so I'm going to lose the objective, which means I need to go and kill his army. In terms of magic, I think the only shocker for me was instead of taking like Entwining Roots or something, I took it to Hereditary because I don't think Entwining Roots can affect them. And the Hereditary was just more about getting that reroll to 1 to wound in combat and reroll 6+ to hit, especially if my general got into combat with his Pharaoh. So that was probably the big one. And then for his, he's taken some pretty standard Cosmo Cell. And then he took Whispers of the Veil over rerolls to wound. I think that was a good choice from a shooting perspective, which is hoping it's going to turn up. So I'm going to be quite worried about that. And it just means I'm going to have to make sure it's shooting. Once it's in range, I deal with it quite quickly. So, terrain. This is my map. So I took this down just because I wanted to just have a first theme battle, which is cool. This is the very first battle with this army. So we have a forest feature over here, ruins, and they've got stalker standards. So it doesn't matter. Ruins. This was impassable. Another set of woods. There is, I think that was my woods that I put down. There's another impassable there, a ruin, and a water feature. And this was what it says. So he rolled and chose that side, and therefore I chose this side. We dropped So I let him drop a unit first, and then I dropped a unit, and we just sort of think. And then it was when he put this unit down here, I decided to drop everything. And the reason I decided to drop everything is I thought I could put all my archers here as much as possible because he split his shooting and deal with this unit independently and then deal with the scarabs and own this side. Well, I'll do some sort of delaying action here with all my other birdies in this. The only thing I did is they've got the banner of deception, so they're there, but I'm going to move them. And I was thinking I could move them over here, I could move them elsewhere, and yeah, just have an easier time with it. So I wasn't too bothered. In his turn, he's got the scarabs, one of his units of archers. He's got the Pharaoh's Guard with the wizard in. He's got his Hierophants in with the 5 scouts behind, which I was shocked at. I was like, okay, fine. He's got his Pharaoh, the 6 shooting charioteers, Colossus with another unit of archers in front, and the Shaptis. The Scorpion is in reserve. I've got Kestrels, both wizards and BSB over there. My Great Eagles here. They're going to move over to that side, as you'll see, and then archers, and then Brahmanians with general. The idea being, I'm going to kill this and move around this side, whilst he probably comes forward into the centre. I back up with my archers, whilst my Kestrels come around this side, and hopefully I can meet them in the middle there. And that's pretty much it. As you can see, that's my first turn. So I moved him over here. So what I managed to do was get all the way down there. So I was behind him. He'd left me a gap. I've moved these up here, so if he just marches forward out of range, I can still countercharge and just force them into a bit of a trap there. I've moved these over here because I wanted to start threatening. If he comes forward massively there, I want to start threatening the archers and move these possibly forward there. As you can see, I've just moved my archers all into a line. They're going to start plinking off them. And they've come forward with the general on this side just to make sure that I can move into the centre. And if he does start moving here, I can start attacking just Shah Guardian. Otherwise, I move back over here, and as you can see, I've already started cheating with the wizards of this guy, so we can start shooting at stuff, but hey. Right, magic. He lets me have Totemic Summon off there, which, again, I was very surprised at because I thought that's not going to go well for him. He then lets me get Master of Earth off, and I managed to kill 3. Yeah, 3, only 3 archers, but still 3. Because now, if you see where the Totemic Summon is, it's not great, but also that's where his Hierophant is. So he's got to move quite some significant distance away from here, and I've already put pressure on his wizard. In terms of shooting, that's what's left. 3 archers, which, as we know with magic from Undying Dynasties, is not great, but it's a good start. Like, the plan is starting to work. It probably means that I'm not going to be able to get the scarabs down to a significant level, but yeah, still good. So Undying Dynasties turn 1. No shocks in the centre and the left, though I did expect the scarabs to start coming up a bit more aggressively. This was a good move, which I didn't expect. So we put it around there. I can charge them. Oh yeah, I did manage to shoot one them off with that guy. But I can't get these into the flank, and even then it'd be just one. So I think one unit going into Shapti is probably quite bad. So I can't fly over them because his Colossus is guarding there. So that's probably a bad one. Otherwise, he's moved forward quite aggressively because I think this was his plan to get to the centre and dominate it and get across to my archers. But also, he needs to get his scouts away from that as much as possible. In terms of magic, he just buffed his archers up as much as possible and got them back to 9 to make my job harder. But I can still hit them as much as possible. So I think hopefully I should kill that unit off. He's then also cast a what's it called? Ice and Fire, and I can't do anything about it. And he managed to kill 2 of my Brahmanians off, and I just couldn't. So that was my saves there. You can probably see there. So yeah, that's cool. He then shoots another Brahmanian off, and then a couple of archers in the center. I think he kills about 4 with 4 or 5 with the chariots. Right, Sylvanel's turn 2. So I'm a little concerned that I haven't been able to push on the left, but not too badly, because now actually as Shapti have got to turn coming around. So I put both units in the centre there, and I'm going to charge into his archers and look to overrun. I need to deal with them and them quickly as possible because he's definitely coming across the board. I've brought my eagles back into the center because I don't need them to threaten here, though I probably could have put them a bit here just to threaten the flank of them. I've moved the archers up because I'm setting a bit of a trap. I've moved my Briar Maidens around here, so if they want to charge me, fine, crack on. But there's all this area here where I'm quite happily charging my lord in just to hold them up. Otherwise, I've moved my archers up as much as possible. I just want to make sure I can kill that unit off. It just means I've got some points on the board as well. The one mistake I made here is I probably should have put that unit there so I can challenge both. So it just means that he can't push with his chariots forward because then I can get a flank charge. Only thing I would do. Something that did happen. Look where the totemic summon is. So Anton left me that and I got a 10, which meant I was in. And so I'm into the back of his scouts with his Hierophant. So I'm hoping I can take them off because that would be a big plus points to me. Yeah, you can see from Magic, I didn't get things off in it. I think I got most of my stuff off on the Kestrels on the left. It was just to buff their resilience, make it difficult to hurt them and stuff like that. But I have killed the archers, which is good. So that's a good start. So Totemic Summon, he did nothing to me. I killed about 3 or 4 of them or something. Basically, he crumbled. I must have killed 4 or something like that, but I had a charge, rear. It wasn't good. So I completely crumbled the entire unit. And that for every unit took a wound, but it was negligible for anything. So cool. That was me. So I was doing well so far. His turn. He's moved the chariots up. He didn't take the bait. He doesn't need to in this. You can see he's concentrating on the center, so he's going to score the point this turn. He's got 2 units there. I'm not going to do that because all my scoring units are here. He's come more central towards my lord. Sorry. And he's starting to move his scarabs up as well to threaten this side. So I'm because I didn't kill the archers in first turn, I'm probably under pressure because what I don't want to do is put my Lord and Briar Maidens as that Scarab unit. Otherwise, on the left, he's moved his Shakti back around and he's moved his Giant out. So now suddenly that overrun is pretty good. So I'm definitely going into those archers. I'm going to hope I get the overrun and get out of the way. And I think on Swift Stride, that's pretty doable. So yeah, pretty happy. He hasn't moved his chariots up that much. So I'm now looking at the Totemic Summon and thinking I'm going to try and put that into his chariots just to delay them a bit. Oh, sorry, he must have charged because I must have fled. Or did he? He caused a wound. I failed. Yeah, I remember this. Good old this. Right. So, he shot me. They ran away. They ran away because it was within 6 inches. And they ran off the board. So my eagles have already dead without doing anything, which would have been really useful right now to go back into the chariots, especially when my dynamic summon was going to the rear. Anyway, cool. So that's that. So a reasonably successful turn. On my turn, as you can see, I've charged the Kestrels into the archers at the top left. I've moved my other Kestrels back across to threaten the chariots in the center, and then I've rallied my archers. So if they charge my archers, I'm going to flee, and then he hasn't really got any other options, and then I'm gonna charge him in the flank, and that's kind of my best thing in there. He did give my Briar Maidens a gap, so what I've done is I've moved my Lord over to here, and that's purely so that I can still shoot past and do stuff with this, but I just want him in the center, threatening the Shah Guardian, because without Godslayer, I'm not scared. And then I've moved my Briar Maidens here, and I'm just going to start plinking stuff off. I probably should have just started. I think I was trying to shoot at the Shah Guardian with the poison shots, but actually what I should have started doing was just plinking off the Scarabs and make him waste spells to either raise them or just let them start dying. This guy is around to try and shoot at the giant. And other than that, these are just going to launch spells, swarm of insects, or more totemic summons and stuff like that. So yeah, that's pretty good. My totemic summon has done it again, and he's gone into the back of the chariots, which hopefully I can hold them for a turn. Because if they beat them and go into the archers, if they don't beat them, then I'm going to charge them in the flank. I get a wound off on the giant, and I get a wound off with the poison shots on the Shah Guardian, which is pretty impressive. So maybe it wasn't that wasted, but my Totemic Summon loses 2 wounds and sticks, but he managed to kill a chariot. So he's got charge, rear, and killed a chariot. So I think he actually won in combat, if I'm correct. Either way, he sticks, so he has held them for that turn, so they can kill him next turn, but I'm going into them on my turn. I massacred the skeletons. They didn't even go, and I did a massive overrun. So I've killed the skeletons, I've killed both units skeleton archers, and I'm now in the back lines with the kestrels, and it's definitely freed up the board, so the plan is working quite well. UD turn 3. So this is, yeah, so I probably should do this with build a bit more suspense, but he has charged. I think that's because, yeah, it's the only picture I got this turn, but he's very much moved forward. He does kill my Totemic Summon. He's moved forward the archers, quite the Necropolis Gardeners ahead of the Scarabs rather than the Scarabs first, which I was hoping because he's really just going to go punch into my big unit of archers. He has charged my Lord. He doesn't get the spells off. He has a bad magic phase, or he's put them on something else, but it didn't go well for him. And he then struck me. His monster was hitting on 5s, and so was his Lord. But I did 5 wounds back to him, and that was after crumble as well, actually. So I hit 5 times, I wounded 5 times. He has a 6-up save, and he saved none of. He only saved one of them, or something like that. In essence, I won, and I put another wound on him. He's got 2 on me. It's my turn next, and I go first. So I'm hoping I can kill him off, which is good. My turn 4. So what's happened? So he did kill the Totemic Summoner, was turned to face me. It's 5 chariots, but I still wasn't bothered, so I charged them into the front. I did think about charging them into the flank, but I decided against it. What I wanted to do was put some more wounds on the Scarabs here, rather than do that. My Bridemaidens went round to here to shoot at the giant with the poison bows, whilst my Law Eagles just came out of the way and just to throw magic more towards this. What I wanted to do was get a Fountain of Youth off from there, or off the water onto the Lord, and also that was probably the big thing, and then or something else, and get some +1 to strength off on them to get it through. Otherwise, my Kestrels will come round to start threatening here, whilst also staying out of range of the Scarabs. So I don't want to mess that one up. And then my archers were trying to sort of maneuver around together. Yeah, managed to shoot between swarm of insects and everything else. I managed to kill the giant off, which was great. Magic, I did get a Fountain of Youth and get a wound back. And then I put 1 more wound on his Lord. Otherwise, I shot a few, as you can see, I shot a few more Scarabs off between everything else, but probably not as much as I wanted. But I killed him. So yeah, that's it. That's his Lord dead. So I'm definitely a lot up on points. I'm pretty happy at the moment, even though I've lost objective. I've just got to work out how to minimise the amount of points this Necropolis Guard is killing, and it's probably at least my archer unit. Yeah. As you can see, I've killed his chariots in the center. They did attack back, but I just completely I chose to overrun. I got they did 3 wounds to me by the looks of it, and that's it. I have got the Scarabs coming in, but I was pretty happy with stomps and everything else. I'd just take that charge. The only thing I've got here is this unit. They are able to charge me on like an 11 or something. It's a long no, yeah, it's 11 on no, it's 10. 10 on 2 dice, so not Swiss Stride. And if they do, then I've got a couple of counter charges as well. So I'm not too bothered. What I was thinking about is, yeah, is that. Right, his turn 5. He does go into me on his turn 4. He goes into me there, and his Scorpion comes up behind me. So I was a bit like, ooh. So between his Scarabs and his Scorpion here and Necropolis Guard, he might have trapped quite a few of my archers, so I need to be quite careful about how I play the next bit, just so I don't lose everything. He also gets in with his Shapti, and I think we can be honest, irrelevant of magic, that's bye-bye Kestrels. 7 Shapti going into your back, it's just not good. So, yeah, that's bye-bye Kestrels. I'm expecting them to be dead. And this is a better view of here of how you can see how they're trapped. So the one advantage I've got is that's a res 5. Yeah, it's a res 5 monster. Well, large killy thing. And I just need to do some wounds and kill some of it off. I'm not sure how I can block both the scarabs and that, but Sylvan Archers aren't awful against undead. So I've got an option here that I could do some damage. So what I can do is, as long as I can shoot the Scorpion off, because that's something I'm not going to beat in combat, I have a chance against the Scarab. So that was going to be my plan. He obviously demolishes my units, but not before I've killed at least a good 5, 6 plus of his unit off. And there was an option. If I'd rolled well for my panic check, I could have stayed in that combat for a round. Right, turn 4. Here's a shocker. One of my Kestrels survived. Admittedly, it's below 25%, but it is heading towards that wood. And he chooses not to run after me because then he'd be offering a flank to my Kestrels. So he decided to stay in and swivel. So, but what it does mean is I can re-heal one of them quite easily. I've got 2 turns to cast Fountain of Youth, and therefore they go back above 25%, that Kestrel, and it means I can rally on a 9 rather than a 5. So I'm actually really happy with this result. It could not have been better for me. So what I do, I wondered about charging him into there, but I thought that was a bit of a waste. So what I've done is I brought the Brian Maidens around. I charged him into there, and the idea is I was hoping that I could fix them for a turn. In fact, no, they had a charge in, and I rolled quite low, like really low, really low. So that was unfortunate. Yeah, that was the way it goes. Otherwise, I think between those two, I'd have massacred them. But so where it goes, they've stumbled. So I'm hoping that I can buff that wizard, sorry, the lord enough just to hold. Otherwise, I've reformed my archers and BSB here, so I can shoot into the scorpion and get that off. And then the only flank charge they've got is the furthest one away. So hopefully he won't make it, or even if they do, they've got the BSB there, and maybe I can hold there and then counter charge. So yeah, otherwise plan is to buff as much as possible the Lord. In here you can see I've got Fountain of Youth off on this Kestrel, so pretty happy with that. So hopefully I should rally next turn. As you can see, I've smashed off the Scorpion as predicted. I thought I would. With between the 5s, and I've got lots of archers shooting at it. Actually, it was about 25 shots, so some of them at short range, at least 20 of them at short range. So that's what, 15, 14. Yeah, and then of those, at least 3, and then you got the bow and magic and other bits and pieces. So yeah, not too bad. Importantly, I didn't get any buffs, so it was my turn to have a bad magic phase, and then the rest of I did it quite quickly actually. It was only 2 units, so the rest of my shooting went into the scarabs, and I got another quite a few of them off. So I got the back rank off, and one of them's quite wounded. So hopefully, if they go in, I can kill one of those swarms before they've even struck. As you can see, the Lord has only got 2 wounds, which I got nothing off on the Lord, which is not good. So I kill. I think it was only 5 left. So I killed 1. I didn't do that. I fluffed the attacks this time, but he's got to do it at some point because he rolled like a boss against the Shard Guardian. He's turned around and he's lost a wound as well. So I think in his turn he's going to kill my Lord on his turn 5. But then I can still counter charge and I kill that unit. So yeah, that's the end of that turn. So this is UD turn 5. What you can see is he's charged the scarabs into there. He's got altered sight and perception of strength, so they're now strength 6 or strength 7, but high AP. It goes straight to my armor, and altered sight, so they're hitting on 3s, I think. By this, maybe 4s. I don't know, but it's not good. So I kill one of his off. Again, not rolling brilliantly, but he has definitely. Oh no, we haven't got to that. I kill that final wound off the scorpion, and he kills one of mine. But I hold, and I think I reform, and then he kills my lord in return, which is pretty standard. I expected that. In response, I've charged the other archer block into the scarabs, and then I've smashed them around. So we didn't even roll this one out. We just went, yeah, this is not going to end well between the Kestrels, the Briars, the Archers, and the 2 Eagle Kings. I mean, the Eagle Kings are strength 5 alone. There's enough there that I don't care how many buffs he's got off, it's not going to end well. And we called it there. And that was it, I think. Yes. I think the big things left, he's got his Necropolis Guard and his Wizard Master. And I've lost my Lord, my big unit of Archers, and one of my Kestrels. Yep. Here's something I do like about my list, and the reason is my look, because it's so spread out. Actually, having a general can be useful with Lead Discipline 9, especially with elves, and the Great Eagles are maybe testament to that. Oh, I cheated. Hang on. Oh no, I didn't lose my Kestrels because they rallied and they're over 25%. So, sorry, yes, I didn't lose the Kestrels because they're there on 25, over 25%. So he doesn't even get half points. So the only ones I've lost are that. The other thing is, I like throwing my prince around and not caring about the 200 points. Like 540 is quite a useful number. The general on it just makes it too dangerous, and I wouldn't play it like that. But 540 is something I'm willing to knock around. I'm thinking about even, can I make it even cheaper, or even, I suppose one of the questions is, I can only have 2 characters on Great Eagles. If it was 3, I maybe would make, because I love the model for my Lord, is I'd make that a chieftain BSB. I've seen an interesting build for about 400 points I quite like. It's got like a 2-up rerollable and a cleansing light silver lance or something, so just something quite nice. But and then I'd put the Lord on an eagle and he could just fly around and cause chaos. But coulda, shoulda, woulda. And then you look at the rest of it, I've killed quite a few between his general, everything else. So it's quite a big points difference. I won by 16-4, but he got the objective. So I win 13-7. So yeah, not a bad result for the first one. It's like one of those first things when you use new models and it actually worked as planned. Admittedly, Antoine is using this army for the first time in donkey's years because he's been playing Vermin Swarm as long as I remember. I didn't even know he had a UD army. So I've never seen him play UD since I've known him, which has got to be since 2019, maybe even earlier. Yeah, 2019. No, maybe it was 2018. No, yes, 2018 or 2019. So it's been a while. So I didn't even know him after like 5, nearly 6 years that he had a UD army. But yeah, no, it was a really good army. We talked about it afterwards. He commented on my stuff and he was like, it's a bit static, and I agree with him. It's as I say, it's a delay army that loses a lot. We did talk about his army ahead of it. I just said Godslayer. I saw the list without Godslayer and went, yeah, I've got a good chance. And then the other thing we talked about was maybe losing one of the archers for a banner of skeleton entombed lot, and then yeah, and then he wanted to try 2 different units of skeleton chariots. So instead of the leading chariots, 2 units of 3 with light troops, which I think worked really well for him on Art of War. I remember him talking about it and say he was really enjoyed that setup. So yeah, onwards and upwards. I've got one more friendly before Art of War, which is again another Spiky Little Ben Dumford, which was the Friday before we tournament. The plan is to try and record that today as well, so hopefully that will be on the day after in the next couple of days as well. All right, thank you very much for watching. Hope you have a good weekend.